Let's get to it. Remember, your page numbers are at the top. Not these bottom numbers here, but the page numbers are going to be up top. So there's page 8. We're on page 13. So this is our only page that we're going to do today. Today I want you guys to make sure that you're paying attention to what type of tape diagrams we're creating, because we're getting into multi-step word problems here, especially when we get down to this word problem, okay? So here we go. First question. Gavin has 1,094 toy building blocks. Avery has only 816 toy building blocks. How many more building blocks does Gavin have? Now this is probably going to be our easiest one of the day, but I'm going to set this up as a comparing. And remember, boys and girls, when we set it up as a comparing, we want them kind of side by side, because this is going to open us up into two-step word problems. So here's Gavin. Gavin's tape is 1,094. Avery has only 816 toy building blocks. This was pretty easy. They didn't tell us to do any other steps here. Okay. And we're simply looking for how many more building blocks does Gavin have. So this will be my variable. I'll do X today. So go ahead, pause the tape. Pause your YouTube clip. Tapes are 1980s stuff, guys. Sorry, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We had tapes. Pause your video, solve it, and unpause me to reveal your answer. All right, hopefully you unpause me and you realize this is a quick one-stepper to get us rolling for today. 816. Make sure I copy the numbers right. 1094, 1094, 816. Now let's regroup. Give 10, take away 1. I know 8 and 6 is 14. Remember, that's your 2 away from each other. You pick the number in the middle. It's 7 to be 14. That'd be 7. And then this is 10 minus 8, which is 278 toy blocks. And let's do a quick check just to make sure. So if Avery had 816, let's give her 278 more toy blocks, and it should equal how many toy blocks Gavin has. That's 14, 789. Booyah. There's our answer. Woo! I wish every word problem was that easy. That leads us now to the most difficult word problem that we have done together. So I want you to get this tape diagram set up. So I want you to pause it, get this set up, and then unpause me when it's all set up. Okay, so it says container A and container B hold 11,875 liters of water together. That means when I add A and B, when I'm all done with this, it's going to equal 11,875. And then it says container B holds 2,391 more than container A holds. So that's where I have my 2,391. Now, this is going to be very difficult for us to solve using such big numbers. We're going to come back to it. So I've set something up underneath this paper here for you guys to understand this question a little more and how we would solve this. So let's pretend this is our tape diagram. Let's start from the beginning. Here is A. Here is B. And we said A has 4 more. Okay, so we're going to say 4 more. And then let's say I have my total. My total of both of these is 20. So when I add A and B up, it's going to equal 20. Now notice I've cut out this 4. That looks very similar to my tape diagram. This would be my little spot that I'm removing or cutting out. But for our purposes, let's continue and leave this 4 in part of our total. So we're going to pretend that A and B are this big box. And my total is going to be 20. However, I have to add this 4 into my total to figure out my answer. That is step 1. So that's going to be step 1 for us when we get back to this. We're going to have to add this number here into that number. Now, why am I doing that? I'm doing that so I know that A and B, if they were both equal, they'd have 24. Now, they're not both equal. I get it. But if they were both equal, like I have in my tape diagram right here, A and B are literally the same. We're going to pretend that B is welded together there. If it was together, we're going to add that 4 into this, what would give me 24. So we're going to say that 24, A and B share 24. So if you are sharing something with someone, this is why this is a difficult word problem. If someone in your class has $24 and they're going to share it with you, you get an equal amount and they get an equal amount, you're going to go 24 divided by 2. And that's going to give you what, boys and girls? 12. So that's going to give me A is 12. Now B would also be 12 if it was what? The same size, but they're not the same size. So this is where now, this is pretty easy for us to figure out because now we're back to our basic tape diagram. If this is 12, we're going to take away 4 from 12. Good job, boys and girls. We have 8. Now watch this magical math. Oh, I love math. Oh, the power of math. Oh, the power of math. Here it comes. Voila. What is 12 plus 8? Ding, 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 ding. 20. Okay, so let's review that really fast because that was quite difficult. If both of these were equal, we'd have to add in that 4. So that would give me 24, not 20, because then it would be 10, and then there'd be 6, and then 10 plus 6 is 16, not 20. So that's why we have to add, very important step, we have to add this into our total because it's part of our operation. This one has 4 less, or this one has 4 more than this one. So now we're going to add that 4 into here, and that gives me 24 in my head. So I'm going to go 24 divided by 2 is 12. So that would mean that both of these would be 12. 12 and 12. Right? Doesn't that give me 12 and 12? 12 and 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 and 12. So then I do my math to figure out what that unknown is. Okay? So let's go back to our number. Now this is why this one is very difficult, because you guys don't know how to divide just yet. So this one definitely not on a quiz, something that you would not have to do. So let's take 11,875 and let's add in 2,391. That's going to give me 6. That's going to give me 16. 8 and 1 is 9. 9 and 3 is 12. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 14,266. Now that is basically from our last word problem. If you remember, that was when we took these two numbers and boop, add them together. That was 24. It's basically what we just did. We just added our 4 and our 20 together and got 24, obviously bigger number. So I will do this for you. 14,266. Don't bother setting this up, boys and girls. I will do this part for you. So you can just leave this blank and copy my answer because you don't know how to do this yet. However, some of you are very good at math. You'll figure this out very quick. 14, 2 goes into 14 7 times. Subtract. This is long division. This is why this is a little difficult for you. And then 6 goes into 2 3 times. And then my answer goes in 3. So my answer is 7,313. Whoops, let's not circle that because that is just for... If you remember when I got 12, right? This is my 12. So that means that's going to be my B down here, which is 7,133. Now if we added these two together, 7,133, it'd give me this number here. Okay? Now I don't want to have two numbers that are the same. Now how do I figure this number out, boys and girls? I subtract. So you take 7,133 and subtract 2,391. That's going to give me a 2. That's going to give me, I need to regroup here, give 10, take away 1. Give 10, take away 1. So now this gives me a 4, gives me a 7, and this gives me a 4. So now this gives me 4,742. So let's go back. I'm going to bring in those yellow pieces of paper and show you our process. If you remember, this was my top, this was my bottom, and this is my how much more the other one is than the other, and then this is my total. Sorry, my total's over here. Okay? So then I needed to add that 4 together to get 24. I did that over here and got 14,266. I then did the stuff that you guys don't want to do yet, divided by 2. We did that. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So that gave me 12 for my big piece. It gave me 7,133 for my big piece. And then I can go ahead. We did this with mental math. 12 minus 4 is 8. Now we just took that. Now let's check it. This is our answer. And how does that work? Because we take 7,133 and I add in 4,742 and it should give me, math magic, this answer. Let's see if it does. Ooh, I got a 5. Yay, so good so far. 4 and 3, 7. Woohoo! There's an 8. Woohoo! 7 and 4 is an 11. That's pretty awesome, boys and girls. That is an insane word problem. Okay? So if you pay attention to me, very good job. If you're still a little confused on that, don't worry, guys. That's probably one of our harder ones that we will see. Okay? So I wrote it down here for you. Steps are, you take the 4, you add it into your total, giving you 24. You then divide it by 2, because then you'll get the same size if these were the same size. And we're pretending they are the same size because we're adding that 4 into our total. So that gives me 24. So that'd give me 12 here. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And then 12 minus 4 is 8. And then we check it. 12 and 8, 20. Boom. Okay. Simple steps. 2 steps to do. Excuse me, 3 steps to do because we have that division there. All right, and our very last one. This one looks really difficult, but this is just more of a reading question than it is a math question. So you'll hear me say that quite a bit. It's not just a math test, but a reading test. So we have a yellow piece of yarn was 230 inches long. So we're going to put 230. Now this is why I love comparing tape diagrams, because this is what we're starting with. After 90 inches had been cut from it. So let's write down cut. So if you're cutting something off, it's going to be shorter. Right? So if I'm cutting off, chopping this off, there's my little line here, I'm going to be losing 90 from it. Well, there's our first step. We're just going to figure out what this unknown is. Okay? After 90 has been cut from it, the piece of yellow yarn right here is now twice as long as the blue yarn. So then this would be blue. And blue, we're going to make it perfectly halfsies. If you want to see how we're doing this, this is again going to be another division question for us. But the numbers will be a little easier on us. So this will be my unknown. And notice why I did 2 boxes here. I did 2 boxes because this one is showing me half. So we're going to erase this kind of at the end. All right. So here's our first step. We got to figure out how much it is after we cut it. Then this right here is going to be twice the size of whatever blue is. And then here comes the best part. How much longer than the blue yarn was the yellow yarn at first. So then we got to go back and compare this to that top one. Okay, so notice I have this here because it's reminding me, hey, I got to cut this number in half and it's going to give me B, and then I'm going to subtract them. So count our steps with me. Step 1, we're going to have to subtract. Step 2, we're going to have to divide by 2. And then step 3, we got to figure out how much more longer the yellow was at first than the blue yarn. Okay, so we got to figure out how much it was when we cut it. Let's do 230. The numbers aren't that difficult, but the process, the steps, guys. Whew. Give 10, take away 1. That's going to be a 4. Okay, so that gave me 140 after we cut it. Now I'm going to divide that by 2. And you're like, Mr. B, I don't know how to do that by 2. Yes, you do. What's 14 divided by 2? 7, and then add your 0 at the end. So that gave you 70 for your blue. And then let's finish it off. 230 minus 70. Give 10. Take away 1. Whoops. 7 and 6. So there's my answer. 160 inches.